Hello, welcome back to Sports Interactive. Joe here with Sandy. We're at Fort Myers Beach, Florida. How you been enjoying yourself this week?
Oh, the weather's beautiful. It's about 85 degrees. It's sunny. Hasn't been raining much, and it's absolutely worth the trip to come down here.
It is. We're at the Minnesota Twins training facility. They got 4 ball fields here. The stadium, we were just in for some interviews and interviewing some fans, but do you like this facility better than the Red Sox, or about the same?
No, you know what? I think I like this one better. It's much bigger, in my opinion. It's much bigger, and it seems to be very accessible compared to where the City of Palms Park, where the Red Sox are training. It's just a bigger stadium. It's very nice here. I like it better.
Yeah, a lot of people here today. We saw Tom Kelly, who won 2 world championships, Dewey Evans walking around, Jimmy Rice, of course all the players, Nomar, but Kyle Yastrzemski is down here, just incredible. And the Twins, they had a good season last year, went to the Final Four. They got beat by Anaheim, and Anaheim went and won the World Series. So you were just interviewing a pitching coach,
yes.
And he's got a prospect here he says could be in the major leagues this year.
Yes, I think his name is Tyler. Is it Tyler? Well, we'll do...
Nebraska farm
We'll work
boy.
on this. We'll work on this. We'll get the names down of the minor league guys.
Yeah, he's right behind us, number 30 on the mound. Throws like 95 miles an hour. Pitching coach was just saying, you just got to develop his control. He could be right up in the big leagues. Now, we were talking to one of the Boston players last night, Steve Woodard.
Yes, Steve Woodard. He is, I believe, a right-hand pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. He's been invited to spring training, and he's been in Major League Baseball for about 4 years. This is going to be his first season with the Red Sox if he makes the team, and it looks like from what I've heard, talking with Tony Cloninger, he's doing very well. So he probably is going to make the roster.
Yeah, Steve Woodard really helping us out. Let's talk a little bit about the pitching coach, your friend Tony. But I didn't realize he played all through the 60s in the major leagues, and he holds a major league record, 9 RBIs in 1 game, 2 grand slams for a pitcher, so very impressive.
Yes, no, and he doesn't brag about what a great career he's had. He's just a very humble person, and he loves his guys. He loves coaching them. He loves to hang out with them. He has a lot of respect for his players, and he wants them to do their very best. And he doesn't really talk about himself and his accomplishments. He's more concerned about how his players are doing and where they're going, and just working on their game. So, good person he is. He's very nice.
Yeah, hopefully we can get an interview with him later today, maybe tomorrow, because I'd like to ask him who he faced in his career. He might have faced Bob Gibson, Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale, all those guys, Frank Robinson. So, yeah, a lot of good stories down here, and you see the players out and about at night also.
Yes, the players, they have free time. They have a
Yep.
game from 1 to 3:30, and some of them like to go out and have a few drinks. They're all old enough, of course, and they spend time with each other. When the game's over, they like to go out to dinner together, and some of the wives are down here, so they have dinner, and some of the kids are down here too. So some of them have their families here. Those who don't like to go out and have some fun, and hopefully not be in David Wells' condition the next day when they pitch, but well, they might be. I don't know. So.
David Wells really knows how to sell a book. A lot of that was publicity. He's a good pitcher. David Wells had 19 wins last year. Hopefully the Red Sox can pass the Yankees this year, but it looks like the Yankees, what do you think?
Well, I think that the Yankees are probably going to get back in the game.
Yeah.
They're gonna be back up there. They're probably going to have a really tough practice, spring training. I mean, because I don't think they like to lose. I think they want to be the champions again. They've held that record for so many years now, and I think they're probably a little embarrassed that it didn't happen last year. So I'm sure they'll just find David Wells and make him be quiet and get back to pitching and hitting, which is what they do best.
Yep. They find David Wells $100,000, and he'll make that easily.
One game, yeah.
Yep. One game, or with all the publicity for the book. But we were just talking to a nice woman who does a show for Japanese television.
Yes, she actually she does a show for Japanese television, and I believe she also does stuff for Baseball Weekly, the show, which is a new show that's coming out based off Baseball Weekly, the magazine. Very, very charming woman. Her name was Hamatsu. I believe it was Hamatsu, and we unfortunately didn't get an interview with her today, but we may get one with her tomorrow. very nice lady, and seems to know. She knows her game. She knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, they do their show. They cover all the major league teams, and then they edit the show in New York City, send it back to Japan, and they broadcast it there. But she was telling me because of Ichiro Suzuki and now Godzilla for the Yankees, that a lot of people in Japan are watching Major League Baseball, and they're not watching their own major leagues. So it's kind
No
of...
kidding, really? Well, how long did she say how long baseball's been that popular in Japan? I mean, I didn't know it was as popular as it is, apparently. No?
Actually, yeah, a long time. Babe Ruth took a tour to Japan, so that was like in the 30s. Baseball was popular, and then after the war, baseball got big, with the... I don't want to say the occupation, but Japan loves baseball, and I like Ichiro Suzuki. Is one of my favorite players. I like that kind of baseball, speed.
Yeah, well, I understand there's a lot of media here following Ichiro Suzuki, and I'm under the impression his English may not be so good, so it's really hard for the American media to get interviews with him because I believe he travels with a translator.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we probably won't get anything with him, but you never know. You never know.
And some of the Red Sox players here, they won't talk to the press. Manny, Pedro, Nomar last year. The people watching remember what that story was. But I like Nomar. He's a good player.
Why don't you remind everybody what that story was with Nomar?
Well, last season, Nomar said, at the end of my contract, maybe I don't want to be here, and that's all the Red Sox fans have to hear, because then they'll say, well, then why don't you leave? Because the Red Sox fans are kind of like the fans of your home team, Philadelphia. Great fans, but they want to win.
Yeah, exactly. They want to win, and they don't like to be betrayed. And you're right. If you don't like the team, then get out of here. So I understand.
Well, what's an interesting story about as far as dealing with the media for these players? I think they should meet in the middle, the players and the media, and then maybe also the support staff, because, for instance, Jim Rice had a terrible relationship with the media, and the media basically votes you into the Hall of Fame.
Really?
So he's right on the borderline. I'm just saying, if he was, I'm not saying they're buddy-buddy, but if they had a professional relationship, Jimmy Rice could be in the Hall of Fame, because his numbers are right. There's a lot of players in the Hall of Fame that don't have as good of numbers as Jimmy Rice. So that's what a lot of people say. That's why Jimmy Rice isn't in the Hall of Fame, because during his career, when a writer would want to interview him, he would say, just look at the numbers. I don't want to talk.
Really?
And now what the writers are saying, who vote him in, are saying, well, we are looking at the numbers, and your numbers aren't going to get you into the Hall of Fame. It's too bad, because Jimmy Rice is one of my favorite players. He was 18 home runs short of 400, and he has like a 298 career average. So if he could have gotten it up to 300 average, 400 home runs, he would have been right in. But either way, Jimmy Rice, great player. And you saw him walking around the other day.
Yes, I did. And I was there with ESPN the other day, and I did see him walking around, and I was actually warned by the guys at ESPN that Mr. Rice does not like the media, does not like to be interviewed, and we didn't get anywhere near him, really. Wow. He just kind of looked at us like, don't even think about it. So we just let him do his thing, and they gave me a little history on him and how much he does not like the media. And
amazing.
Maybe they, did the media, maybe attack him during his career and say things that, it must be hard to be in the public eye and have people you don't even know criticize you and say maybe you don't deserve the money you're making, or, basically say you don't know how to do your job. So maybe he just, is retaliating, I would think.
Because just hanging around here all day and night, I mean, you could find stories, negative and positive, about the players, and it all depends if you want to run with those stories. What's wrong is if you try. We were talking to some players where they might, a certain writer or television reporter might try to set them up, and
yeah, absolutely. That's why Kevin Shea, the media director, kind of wanted to know, what do you really want to talk with them about? Because they don't need any shocks and surprises. They don't want to get any steroid questions or salary questions, or they're a little bit defensive, I think, and they have every right to be.
Let me ask you something about the World Series. World Series games, we talked about this the other day. They're on at 1 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time. Now, working people have to get up. Kids aren't going to be up at 1 o'clock in the morning to watch games. Do you think Major League Baseball should say, listen, we're going to make a little less money on the World Series. We're going to put those games on earlier, but in the long run, you're going to be getting 12-year-olds who are going to watch those games, because in 5 years, those 12-year-olds are going to be watching the NFL if baseball doesn't do something to have those games on earlier.
That's right. I completely agree with you. I think they need to do it on East Coast time. Because then later on the West Coast people can watch it when it's convenient for them. But it's unfortunate that we have to get up at 1 in the morning to watch a great baseball game.
Yep. Yeah, because the thing about baseball, you can't tape it because you go to work the next day, you're going to know what happened. So that's about the only thing that bothers me with baseball is those late night games. Red Sox have a new general manager. How do you think he's going to do?
Oh, Theo. I think he's gonna do well. He obviously deserves the job, or he wouldn't have gotten it. Even though he is young, he's had about 12 years of experience in Major League Ball. He started off as a intern for the Baltimore Orioles back in '92. So he's a very intelligent guy. Went to Yale, graduated from Yale, and graduated from University of San Diego Law School. Baseball is his passion, though, and I think if he keeps it up, he'll have Bud Selig's job.
Yeah, Theo Epstein, he has like parallels to Babe Ruth. He was an intern with Baltimore, and the Babe was born in Baltimore and started out in Baltimore. And then the Babe played in New York. And I think Theo, in his bio, I think he was born in New York.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
and
he was born and then moved to Brookline, Massachusetts.
And then he moved, right now they're both associated with the Red Sox. One of the things about, you were talking about Johnny Pesky the other day.
Yeah. Johnny Pesky, it was funny when we were there with the other camera crew that some of the players were joking, saying, Johnny Pesky really is a little pesk. He is pesky, so I thought that was very funny. But they were saying it in an endearing fashion. But
Yep.
I know he's quite the legend, Johnny Pesky.
Yep. He I believe he led the league in hits 2 years in a row. But we've been hanging out with the Minnesota Twins today. Really nice organization, friendly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, these guys are really, really nice. The minor league staff is very helpful. They don't mind us walking around and filming and asking questions. They're just very, very nice. And like I said, Sean, the PR director for Minnesota, is very nice and went out of his way to help us out, lined up some players for us, which we'll get to tomorrow, I hope.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll get those guys tomorrow. And today we just kind of walked around and got a feel for the park, got a feel for some of the players, let the players see us, get used to us a little bit. So when we start interviewing tomorrow, they'll say, hey, we remember you guys, you were here yesterday.
Yeah, this facility we're at, there's four baseball fields around us, and in the middle they have a tower, kind of like you see in football training camps. And right now you have some scouts up in the tower evaluating these players. So these guys down here, they're fighting for their lives. I mean, they could either be making the major leagues or AAA, or some of them are going to be going home to regular jobs.
Oh, that's got to be really tough. And spring training for minor league teams it's just not as long as it is for the major league teams. The major league's got it for 6 weeks. Minor league has it for 3. So they don't have much time to make a great impression. But 3 weeks might be enough, to let the best ones go on, and unfortunately cut the ones that aren't making the grade and send them back home. So.
Yep. But we're having a great time down here, Fort Myers, Florida. Training camp with the Red Sox and the Twins, and also be checking out the Phillies tomorrow.
Yes, we're going to be checking out the Phillies and Detroit, I believe, on Thursday. So Detroit is going to be playing the Red Sox, and we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun with all these teams and get some great interviews, I hope.
Oh, I didn't know that. I know a Detroit fan back home. That'll be great. They got a good tradition, the Tigers.
What's that?
The Detroit Tigers, let me see, their last World Series was '84. And then they won in '68. See, that's the thing. You can win a championship. It doesn't matter if it's 20 years ago, as long as you win one. But the Red Sox, they really have to get it done. We'll just wrap up one more comment about Theo Epstein. All the general managers before him, since 1918, haven't won the World Series. So if Theo Epstein doesn't win a World Series, he's just like everyone else. No different. If he wins one, he's the guy that builds this organization. I think he's on the right track. A lot of people thought they should have brought in a name for the general manager, Nola Ryan, but like Steve was saying last night, general manager these days is more of a business person, kind of a CEO than baseball.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a lot of schooling. It's business smarts, not necessarily experience playing the game, but it's experience working with it. Theo has a lot of pressure on himself right now, being one of the youngest GMs in baseball history, and Boston wants a win. They want to have a win. They haven't had one in so long, and I think that Theo's probably feeling the pressure, and I'm sure he's going to do his best to get Boston a win this year.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to some great things from the Red Sox this year. They got all the horses: Pedro, Manny, Nomar, Damon, just right down the line. They should make a run, even if they. I think they can win the division if they get off to a fast start, injuries notwithstanding. But so then you have the Yankees, same teams: Minnesota, Oakland, Anaheim, and the National League. Anything you want to say about the New York Mets?
The New York Mets. Well, I hope they have a good year. What's been in the news lately is Mike Piazza's temper tantrum and how he wanted to attack somebody, and a pitcher who hit him obviously purposely, and then went to his clubhouse. Mike Piazza went to this player's clubhouse to pick a fight, and I hope that resolves itself. I think it's might be a little too late for Mike Piazza to try to be tough. He hasn't been tough before, and I think that's why rumors were said about him, because he wasn't a fighter. And if he's going to fight, he should pick the good fights, and not go to people's clubhouses. I think that's bad.
Yeah. If you're going to fight, remember, throw the left first. A lot of these guys, they throw wild shots like they never learned to fight. Anyway, we saw Peter Gammons out in the field from ESPN. You could hear the people from the stands yelling at him. So we're going to try and get an interview with him.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be fabulous.
Yeah.
What kind of questions would you ask him if you could talk to him?
Well, Peter Gammons, he loves the Red Sox, and when Jim Rome on any national show, they take shots at him because he's a homer. He loves the Red Sox, and anytime he does a report, it's usually with the green monster behind him. But I just ask him the usual, I'd like to test him on his Red Sox history.
Yeah, you give him, I bet I bet he knows it all.
Yep.
Test him about Fenway, why they're named Red Sox, about Wally the green monster who lives inside the outfield wall. I think you should put him on the spot a little bit, see how he is with his Red Sox history.
And I didn't know that the Fenway Park was opened in 1912, so the Babe Ruth did play there.
Yeah, it opened in 1912, and their opening day game was against the Yankees, which back then were the New York Highlanders. But they won that game, actually, their opening day game, the Red Sox did, but it got pushed off of the front pages of the paper because it happened within days of the Titanic sinking. So it didn't really get any coverage at all, unfortunately. But it's been around for quite some time.
Yep. So they're going to be adding some new seats above the Green Monster this year. They had some renovations, 10, 15 years ago, but hopefully in the next few years they'll be making a new ballpark. But Sandy, it's been great talking baseball, and we'll...
Great, and we'll have some more fun down here with the Red Sox and the Twins and Philly and Detroit. And all of the great management that is let us do this with the Red Sox and with Minnesota. And hopefully we'll get some great players and find out what they do on their downtime as well, not just stats, but do a little travel talk with them and see what they like to do when they're not playing ball.
All right, sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned.